This is the L2C Media Network on YouTube, and this is Sports Final, brought to you by the L2C Media Network. Now, with the details from the headlines to make the world of sports go round, here's our host, Steve, the Baxman Baxley. All right, thank you very much, Harold. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to a very interesting day here at the Fred McLeod Sports Desk here in our little studios in Jackson, Michigan. Zippy 49201. Steve the Baxman Baxley with you, and in a few moments we can get our stuff all hoided up, and just be patient with us, folks. Okay. Good. Okay. We'll do what we do normally, or abnormally if you prefer. I prefer something with a little toast. There we go. Okay. Oops. Wrong button, boys. Wrong button. Okay. I remind our erstwhile owner of the studio, we are live. Okay. We got a lot to do, and hopefully we will be here, and we're gonna hope for the best, as they say. All right, let's take you to our scoreboard, which is sponsored in part by, it's presented by, not sponsored by, because we don't have sponsors yet. Our scoreboard is sponsored in part by the Caesars Sportsbook people, who remind you that we are Caesars. And with that said, ladies and germs, let's get on with it. And our first getting on with it is to bring you all the scores of the games that are still being played at this hour, which is 40 minutes past 11 o'clock Eastern. Top of the ninth inning, the defending World Series champion Los Angeles Dodgers lead the Philadelphia Phillies 8-2. After six, Blue Jays over the Los Angeles. See, I'm all the time calling them California. They're actually Los Angeles Angels. Toronto Blue Jays lead the... Can't say it. Los Angeles Angels 7-2. Fifth inning, the San Francisco Giants lead the Arizona Diamondbacks 5-2. Also in the fifth inning, Texas Rangers lead the Seattle Mariners 1-0. Let's go for some final scores and winning and losing pitchers and all that sort of fun information that we normally give you here on this broadcast. Minnesota Twins beat the Chicago White Sox 1-0, 1-4-0 for Minnesota, 0-6-1 for Chicago. The winning pitcher, Theo Bar, 4-0 for the Twins. Ruiz gets lost for the White Sox. He's 1-2, and Colon gets his seventh save. Houston Astros over the Colorado Rockies 5-1, 5-13-0 for the Stros, 1-5-0 for the Rockies. Valdez gets the win. He's 8-3 for the Astros, and Senzatella gets lost for the Rockies. He's 2-9. New York Yankees battle it out and beat the Kansas City Royals by a score of 5-2, 5-12-3 for the Yankees, 2-7-1 for the Royals. Green is the winner. He has a record of 6-5. Singer is a loser. He has a record of 3-8. And Britton gets his first save for the Yankees. Florida Marlins blanked the San Diego Padres 7-0, 7-12-0 for the Marlins, 0-4-0 for the Padres. Alcantara gets the win for the Marlins. He's 7-10. Weathers gets the loss. He's 4-5. New York Mets overpower the Washington Nationals 8-7, 8-13-1 for the Mets, 7-10-3 for the Nationals. May gets a win for the Mets. He's 5-2. Thompson gets a loss for the Mets. He's 0-1, and Diaz gets his 24th save. Detroit Tigers give the Wowios more woe. They beat them 5-2, 5-11-0 for the Tigers, 2-9-0 for the Orioles. One of their big hits came from Miguel Cabrera, who hit his 499th career home run. He is one away from hitting that magic mile marker of 500. We wish him well. And if he does it tomorrow, we'll try to bring it to you as best as we can, live in vivo e directo. Skubal gets the win for the Tigers. He's 8-10. Harvey gets a loss for the Wowios. He's 6-11. And Soto gets his 14th save. St. Louis Cardinals over the Pittsburgh Pirates 4-0, 4-9-0 for the Cards, 0-2-0 for the Pirates. Wainwright gets the win. He's 11-6. Crow gets the loss. He's 3-7 for the Pirates. Oakland Athletics beat the Cleveland Indians 6-3, 6-9-1 for the Athletics, 3-4-0 for the Indians. Diekman gets the win for the Athletics. He's 3-2. Sandin gets the loss for the Indians. He's 1-1. And Trivino gets his 19th save for Oakland. Boston Red Sox over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Well, technically it does sound like the Buccaneers because this is more of a football score. Boston beat Tampa Bay by a score of 20-8. Obviously, Tampa Bay missed the extra point. 2019-0 for the Red Sox, 8-0 for the Rays. Eovaldi gets the win for the Red Sox. He's 10-7. Fleming gets a loss. He's 9-6. Atlanta Braves beat the Cincinnati Reds 8-6, 8-7-0 for the Braves, 6-10-0 for the Reds. Santana with the win. He's 3-0. Sims with the loss. He's 4-2. The Milwaukee Brewers blanked the Chicago Cubs 10-0, 10-16-0 for the Brews, 0-4-1 for the Cubs. And the second game between the Mets and the Nationals was postponed due to that which is wet and ugly. It's known as rain. So let's keep going on our little baseball motif and get you something. We go from the majors now to the minors. And let's get you some scores from AAA. Excuse him. Iowa over Omaha. Iowa leads Omaha 8-7 in the ninth. On the fifth inning, it is Gwinnett 5, Durham nothing. Final scores: Toledo over Columbus 7-4, 7-9-0 for Toledo, 4-7-0 for Columbus. Thank you. Syracuse over Worcester 11-4, 11-9-0 for the Qs, 4-7-0 for Worcester. Gwinnett over Durham 4-3, 4-9-0 Gwinnett, 3-3-0 Durham. Nashville over Louisville 8-5, 8-13-2 for Nashville, 5-81 for Louisville. Buffalo over Rochester by a score of 5-0, 5-6-0 for Buffalo, 0-4-0 for Rochester. Lehigh Valley over Scranton Wilkes-Barre 9-3, 9-13-0 for Lehigh Valley, 3-6-1 for Scranton Wilkes-Barre. Norfolk over Memphis by a score of 7-5. 7-8-0 for Norfolk, 5-11-1 for Memphis. Jacksonville over Charlotte, 9-8, 9-11-0 for Jacksonville, 8-12-2 for Charlotte. Final in 11 innings, St. Paul beats Indianapolis by a score of 11-9, 11-10-0 for St. Paul, 9-11-1 for Indianapolis. And there's AAA. Let's go now to what the hell? You are not screwing this up. There we go. Let's go now AA, beep, beep. And AA, all final scores, mind you. And we're right now going to give them to you. Bowie over Richmond by a score of 8-4, 8-11-1 for Bowie, 4-8-2 for Richmond. Portland over Somerset in the first game. It was Somerset over Portland. by a score of 3-0, 3-6-0 Somerset, 0-4-1 Portland. In the second game, Portland got their revenge. Yes, revenge. 3-2 Portland over Somerset, 3-6-0 for Portland, 2-5-1 for Somerset. Montgomery over Pensacola in 10 innings, 8-7, 8-10-3 for Montgomery, 7-7-3 for Pensacola. Harrisburg over New Hampshire, 2-0, 2-7-1 for Harrisburg, 0-6-0 for New Hampshire. Hartford over Binghamton, 3-0, 3-8-0 for Hartford, 0-5-0 for Binghamton. Tennessee over Rocket City, 10-5, 10-9-2 for Tennessee, 5-7-0 for Rocket City. San Antonio over Midland, 13-4, 13-14-1 for San Antonio. Midland 4-7-0. Pensacola over Montgomery, 7-2, 7-9-1 for Pensacola, 2-7-0 for Montgomery. Mississippi, a 6-0 winner over Biloxi. Mississippi 6-9-0. Biloxi 0-2-1. Birmingham over Chattanooga 7-1, 7-8-1 for Birmingham, 1-7-1 for Chattanooga. Wichita over Tulsa 10-5, 10-11-0 for Wichita, 5-6-0 for Tulsa. Final in 10 innings, Frisco over Northwest Arkansas 4-2, 4-11-0 for Frisco, 2-10-0 for Northwest Arkansas. Amarillo over Corpus Christi, 12-8, 12-18-2 for Amarillo, 8-11-2 for Corpus Christi. Arkansas over Springfield, 14-4, 14-6-1 for Arkansas, 4-7-2 for Springfield. And we go from we go from AA. We go from AA. Thank you, boys. To high A, and get you some scores from the high A folk. Bottom of the sixth inning, Wilmington over Brooklyn, 15-3. Mid sixth, Spokane over Tri-Cities, 4-0. Bottom of the fifth, Hillsborough over Eugene, 5-3. Top of the fifth, Everett over Vancouver, 3-2. End of five, Wisconsin over Great Lakes, 6-3. Dayton over Lansing, 12-4. Final score, 12-14-1 for Dayton, 4-6-0 for Lansing. Aberdeen defeated Asheville by a score of 4-3, 4-8-0 for Aberdeen, 3-7-1 for Asheville. Brooklyn over Wilmington, 16-5. 16-19-1 for Brooklyn, 5-5-3 for Wilmington. Wisconsin over Great Lakes, 8-7. 8-7-1 for Wisconsin, 7-8-2 for Great Lakes. Yep. So they're doing the double dip there. Okay, thank you. It's nice to know that, isn't it? Yes, it is. Okay. Greensboro beat Winston-Salem by a score of 9-5, 9-13-0 for Greensboro, 5-7-3 Winston-Salem. In 11 innings, Rome over Hickory, 5-4, 5-5-2 for Rome, 4-4-2 for Hickory. Jersey Shore over Hudson Valley, 7-6, 7-11-0 for Jersey Shore, 6-6-2 for Hudson Valley. South Bend over Fort Wayne, 5-1, 5-6-0 for South Bend, 1-4-1 for Fort Wayne. Beloit over Quad Cities, 8-1, 8-11-1 for Beloit, 1-6-0 for Quad Cities. Bowling Green over Greenville, 6-4, 6-9-0 for Bowling Green, 4-8-1 for Greenville. Cedar Rapids over Peoria, 5-4, 5-10-1 for Cedar Rapids, 4-9-0 for Peoria. West Michigan, Lake County, Asheville, and Aberdeen, they were all postponed due to weather. And finally, we go to low A scoreboard. That's right, we go low A this time. 7th inning, Visalia over Lake Elsinore, 7-6. Bottom of the 7th, Stockton over Fresno, 3-1. Middle 7th, or the bottom of the 7th, whichever. Inland Empire over Rancho Cucamonga by a score of 7-6. Palm Beach over Lakeland, 4-3, 4-11-2 for Palm Beach, 3-8-1 for Lakeland. That was game 2. Game 1, Lakeland got the win over Palm Beach 7-4, 7-11-0 for Lakeland, 4-7-2 for Palm Beach. San Jose beat Modesto 6-2, 6-9-2 for San Jose, 2-5-4 for Modesto. Game one was postponed, but they did get in game two. How, we're not sure of, but still, they got it in. Final score for that was 1-0 St. Lucie over Dunedin, 1-3-0 for St. Lucie, 0-3-1 for Dunedin. Delmarva took care of Lynchburg twice. First game, Delmarva beat Lynchburg 10-6, 10-13-1 for Delmarva, 6-9-4 for Lynchburg. The second game, Delmarva swept them 8-7. Lynchburg lost 8-10-2 for Delmarva, 7-11-1 for Lynchburg. Bradenton over Fort Myer 8-2, 8-5-4 for Bradenton, 2-4-2 for Fort Myer. Carolina over Down East 19-10, 19-24-2 for Carolina, 10-11-2 for Down East. Jupiter over Daytona 8-1, 8-14-1 for Jupiter, 1-3-1 for Daytona. Charleston over Myrtle Beach 7-2, 7-11-3 for Charleston, 2-8-4 for Myrtle Beach. Salem over Fredericksburg 9-4, 9-8-1 for Salem, 4-6-2 for Fredericksburg. Columbia over Fayetteville 5-3, 5-5-2 for Columbia, 3-7-2 for Fayetteville. Augusta over Kannapolis 12-3, 12-10-3 for Augusta, 3-7-2 for Kannapolis. Tampa Bay and Clearwater got rained out. Whew. And there you have it with that. Sounds simple, don't it? By the way, I am dressed for it tonight. I do have my green tuxedo on. Yeah, that's right. So there is your little sports outing, as it were, for baseball. And while we're here on the subject, let's give you what we haven't given you for 2 days, and that's a cheesy little plug ski. That's right. Let's give you a little plug for tonight's action. We scratchy. Tonight, Nick Rakita, the humble Minnesota lawyer, and on his edition of Lost Blaming the Interwebs, Nick Rakita's guest will be Russell Greer's amazing motion against Joshua Moon and Skordas and more. It's coming up at midnight Eastern, 11 Central on the Rakita Law channel here on YouTube. It is a pleasure to always give Nick Rakita some respect. Yes, it is, folks. Yes, it is. Okay. Let's get back to what we like to do. I don't know what it is, but we do it anyway. Oh, yeah. We get to do more sports. That's right. We are about 5 minutes away from hitting the halfway point. So how's about that? Let's go through the headlines. As Harry would say, the headlines make the details in the world of sports go round and round. And here we go. While emphasizing that it's nothing to worry about, the Cowboys announced on Wednesday the quarterback Dak Prescott plans to have another MRI to check out his right shoulder strain when the team breaks camp this weekend. Prescott, who missed most of last season after suffering a compound leg fracture, told reporters Wednesday that he remains focused on being on the field when the Cowboys open the regular season against the defending champion Buccaneers. Prescott sustained the injury during a July 28th practice. While he has not practiced for Prescott was spotted on Tuesday throwing passes to Amari Cooper, who is currently on the team's PUP list. During walkthroughs, Prescott told reporters Wednesday that he is currently on a pitch count. Expectations for the 2021 season are sky high for Prescott, who is more than 9 months removed from surgery to repair the compound fracture to his right ankle. Now, prior to the injury, Prescott was the NFL's passing leader with 1,856 yards through 5 games. In just his second game with the new head coach, Mike McCarthy, Prescott became the player to throw for 400 yards and run for 3 scores in the same game. In his last full game under center, Prescott threw for 502 yards and 4 touchdowns in a Week 4 loss to the Browns. Despite gaudy expectations, Cowboys Executive Vice President Stephen Jones said the Cowboys need to take a conservative approach when it comes to Prescott's recovery. This guy's so driven that's his nature is to overwork, Jones said, courtesy of 105.3 The Fan via the Dallas Morning News. We wish him well. That's what we do. We wish him well. By the way, the Lions today announced a new TV voice, new TV play-by-play voice and color commentator. Let's give you the details in quite a moment. As we go. And as you know, the voice of the Lions on the TV side was Matt Shepard, and then was for about the past 2 seasons the duty of Fred McLeod, who, as we know, passed away due to, as they say, due to heart problems. And that is why we call our little sports desk the Fred McLeod Sports Desk. All right. Why is it that something is not happening here? Okay, maybe we got to do it this way. Okay, here is the new play-by-play voice for the preseason television of the Detroit Lions is Brandon Gaudin, who, of course, did the Madden 20, also does play-by-play for the Big Ten Network and a few other little visitations as well. I do believe the color commentary is going to be done by Herman Moore, so that'll be good. And TJ Duckett, and TJ will be doing the sidelines. Very nice. You can see the Lions in their first preseason game this Friday night at 7 on the Fox 2 Detroit Lions preseason television network. Here in the Michigan area, in the Lansing area, it's WSYM, Grand Rapids. It'll be on Fox 17. It'll also be seen on Fox Local 32 in Cadillac, Traverse City, among other stations carrying it in the mid-Michigan area. It'll also be carried nationwide, except for the Lions and Buffalo Bills market on the NFL Network. So there you go. Happy landings on a chocolate star. Don't know what's going on, but we are going to go on with this program. That's what we do. We're going on with this show. Let me wipe my brow off here. And get back to the showgram if we can. Okay. Wow. Last time that Mike Trout went down with a calf, the last time anyone heard from Mike Trout, May 17th, when the Angel superstar went down with the calf industry. No, it was a calf injury. The initial prognosis was that he'd be back in 6 to 8 weeks, but Trout has suffered a setback, and the Angels say the injury is healing very slowly. Still, they won't be shutting and hope to have him back this season. Now, if Trout heals and wants to get back on the field, which as a competitor, there's no reason to prevent him from doing so. On the team end, Trout is a big draw. They also have Shohei Ohtani, but adding Trout to the mix just makes the Angels all that more attractive to watch, even if they aren't necessarily contenders. They entered Wednesday's 10.5 game. They entered Wednesday's game 10.5 out in the AL West and 7.5 out in the wild card. Also, the point made by Joe Madden, the manager, to the Associated Press makes sense as well. You want to go into those off-season months knowing that, hey, I played again, it felt good, everything's fine. So that's always part of it, too. The 30-year-old Trout was having another monster season before the injury. He was hitting .333, .466, and .624 with 8 doubles, 8 homers, 18 ribs, 23 runs, 2 steals in just 36 games. That is amazing. And again, I have to remind our erstwhile owner, we are live. Okay, let's keep going. And here we go. Jimmy Johnson pulled off a flurry of successful trades that allowed him to take the Cowboys from a 1-15 club in '89 to back-to-back Super Bowl champions in the 92-93. In 92-93, Johnson's success during that era was the main reason why the 78-year-old former coach was inducted into Pro Football's Hall of Fame this past weekend. While his trade prowess is the stuff of legend, Johnson recently revealed a blockbuster that he regrets not pulling the trigger on during his 9 seasons as an NFL coach. Johnson, who coached the Dolphins for 4 seasons, following his 5-year run in Dallas, had the opportunity to acquire one of the best quarterbacks in league history heading into the 98 draft. Ironically, the quarterback Johnson and the Dolphins would have acquired received his gold jacket and Browns bust on the same weekend. Johnson got his. It was none other than Peyton Manning. That's right. It would have, and he said this on the Dan Le Batard show with Stugatz. It would have taken my entire draft board, but I could have made a trade to move up to get Peyton Manning. In fact, I talked to Peyton and Archie about it this weekend. When asked to elaborate more on it, Johnson declined. So there you go. Man, imagine if Peyton Manning played for the Dallas Cowboys. Okay, and a little sad, shocking news out of college sport, not college, high school sports. A grand jury has charged 2 coaches with murder and child cruelty in connection to the death of a Georgia high school basketball player. 16-year-old Imani Bell suffered a heat stroke while practicing outdoors in nearly 100-degree weather in 2019, according to her family's attorney. According to the Associated Press, Georgia grand jury indicted coaches LaRosa Walker Asquer and Dwight Palmer just last month in connection to Bell's death. The family attorney, Justin Miller, told the AP that Tuesday's indictment sends a signal that the DA is taking this seriously. Walker Asquer was the school girls basketball head coach, and Palmer was one of the assistants at Elite Scholars Academy. Both were allegedly at the scene when Bell collapsed. Bell was a junior at Elite Scholars Academy in Jonesboro, Georgia, and was participating in mandatory conditioning drills on August 13th, 2019, when she collapsed while running up the steps of the school's football stadium. She died shortly thereafter as a result of heart-related cardiac arrest and kidney failure, according to a lawsuit that was filed February by her family. At the time of Bell's death, there was a heat advisory in Clayton County, where the school is located. The lawsuit alleges that Elite Scholars Academy violated a Georgia High School Association rule that bans outdoor practices in such heat-stricken conditions. And as we said to and alluded to earlier, longtime Tiger corner infielder, designated hitter, and all-around good egg, Miguel Cabrera is now just one home run shy of joining one of baseball's most exclusive and revered clubs. He clubbed short to left center field on Wednesday night in Baltimore. That is his 499th regular season home run for Cabrera. That was vintage Cabrera swing. He's not as strong as he used to be, but look how he stayed back on the hook and got his hands so smoothly around the inner half, a thing of beauty that he's been doing his entire career. After hitting 38 homers to move to 446 in a career through his age 33 season, 500 seemed a cinch for Cabrera. Injuries and age-related decline only saw him with 477 through his age 36 season. And then it all of a sudden seemed possible he might not get there after all. He's regained some power in the last two seasons, hitting 10 homers in just 57 games last year. He now has 12 in 90 games this season. Cabrera is signed through 2023 and is productive enough to merit at least part-time action on a non-contender, so he'll get to that 500. When he does, he will be the 20th player in history to reach 500 home runs. Meanwhile, Cabrera is also closing in on another milestone. He has 2,948 career hits, another 52, and to become the 33rd player in Major League Baseball history to reach that 3,000 hit plateau. The only players with both 500 homers and 3,000 hits in the history of baseball are Hank Aaron, Alex Rodriguez, Albert Pujols, Willie Mays, Rafael Palmeiro, and Eddie Murray. Cabrera is very likely to join that group. For now, his next home run could be the big 500. So we shall, as we said, keep track on that. Final news, sports news headline. Prior to Wednesday's game against the Phillies, the Dodgers placed superstar right fielder Mookie Betts on the injured list for the second time since the All-Star break. It's the same injury, too, with Betts' right hip being the problem. Betts was a late scratch from the lineup on Tuesday due to hip soreness, so this move doesn't come as a huge surprise. Betts will fly back to Los Angeles Wednesday night and meet with team doctors on Thursday. We're going to have to have some more experts chime in to try to figure this thing out, Dave Roberts, the Dodgers manager, said. The Dodgers will recall right-hander Edwin Uceda in a corresponding move. The 28-year-old Betts is hitting .277, .378, .521 with 25 doubles, 3 triples, 17 homers, 44 ribs, 68 runs, 7 steals on the season. He's been especially hot the past 5 weeks or so in his last 18 games. Betts is hitting .389, .438, and .750 with 7 homers and 20 runs scored. Of course, due to the hip injury, that's only 18 games played since July 1st. Dodgers recently got a fusion of talent. Not only did they add Trey Turner and Max Scherzer at the deadline, but the lineup got Betts and Corey Seager, who missed 10 weeks after fracturing his right hand, back from injury. The full-strength lineup had 2018 NL MVP Cody Bellinger hitting 8th. Yes, Bellinger is having a rough year, but he's been picking things back up lately, and he's far too talented to keep posting a 601 ops. The Betts injury is certainly a problem. Yes, the Dodgers have lots of position player depth and are one of the best suited teams in baseball to absorb such a blow. They're still 4 games back of the Giants in the NL West and surely don't want to have to deal with a one-and-done wildcard game while defending their World Series title, and losing Betts just makes the task of avoiding it that much tougher. They only have 3 games left against Giants, too, so there's only so much that can help. There's only so much they can help. They hope they can do to help themselves. Person that wrote that wrote this is going to get a nice talking to by our producers and management. Okay, and that is the sports headlines. Let us keep going here. We're at 12 minutes past the hour of 12 o'clock. Once again, sports scores and headlines brought to you, presented to you by Caesars Sportsbook. Remember, we are all Caesars. Okay, let's get you some international stuff. And we'll get it all nice and juicy for you. Let's get to it. In the Super Cup, Chelsea and Villarreal ended regulation 1 apiece, but in penalties, Chelsea won 6-5. In the EFL Cup, Blackpool over Middlesbrough 3-0. Nottingham Forest over Bradford City 2-1. Burton Albion and Oxford United ended in a 1-1 tie regulation. But on penalty kicks, Oxford United won 4-2. Northampton Town over Coventry City 2-1. Leyton Orient and Queen's Park Rangers tied at 1, but QPR won 5-3 on penalties. In qualifying for the FA Cup, Millbrook over Saltash United 6-4. Sven Oakstown over Cobham 3-1. Athletic Newham over Virginia Water 3-1. Beckenham Town over Colliers Wood United 3-1. Erith and Belvedere over Tooting and Mitcham United 3-1. Coggenho United over Haverhill Rovers 2-0. Kirkley and Pakefield over Long Medford 4-0. Northampton on Checknecks over Godmanchester Rovers 1-0. Lower Breck over Penistone Church 2-1. Romford a 3-1 winner over Harpenden Town. White Ensign over Sporting Bengal United 3-0. Goole over Sunderland Ryhope 3-2. Scottish Challenge Cup, Peterhead over Dundee 2-1. Bucky Thistle over Brecon City 3-1. Falkirk over East Kilbride 3-0. Broomhill over Clyde 1-0. Celtic over Annan Athletic 2-0. Rangers over Dumbarton 3-2. And let's give you a little bit of maybe a couple of media bites. Of course, congratulations to Mike Richards, the executive producer of Jeopardy, and Mayim Bialik from The Big Bang Theory and show where she runs a hotel for cats on Fox. I think it's called Call Me Cat. Okay, meow. They are now the new host of Jeopardy. Mike Richards, of course, the executive producer of Jeopardy since the original executive producer when the syndicated program was reborn, retired, will do the nighttime, while Mayim Bialik will do the spinoffs and the primetime special on ABC, obviously, unless they change. And it's more than a logo. But, wow. And I say that with respect. Wow. All righty. Excuse me. I'm going to... there. Something in my eye. Okay, let's get you some media burps. Or media bites, excuse me. It's time for media bites. Football often comes with an incredible amount of paranoia about media and our fans. College and NFL teams cracking down on access to practices in recent years. The latest attempt to do that in Texans, who tried to end their training camp rules, which includes more media access than the regular season early and shift to a regular season model. But after local media protested, the NFL stepped in and made the Texans comply with league-wide policy on training camp duration. It's good to see the NFL enforcing a rule to preserve media access. Yes, it is. As it hasn't always been the case, there's been a lot of restricted access recently in the National Football League, but this rule in particular seems like something that's causing very little harm to the league's teams and something that can provide benefits for local media. As per harms to teams, this is a league-wide regulation. Local media have access to all the teams' practices through the 26th, so it's not like any one team has their practices more exposed than any other team. And media watching practices very rarely leads to important team secrets being exposed. It more frequently leads to smarter, more insightful questions to players and coaches after practices and to more thoughtful coverage of the team. So, as they say, there's a yin and a yang and a boobity boobity boo. There you go. Alex Smith will join ESPN as studio analyst, but on a part-time basis at first. As we always say, let's keep going. Tennis player Karen Khachanov penalized for saying the S word during match responds with, "What do you mean it's a bad word?" Blackouts are nothing new, and they're not just Major League Baseball's problem, contrary to popular thought. That's right. On Thursday, Major League Baseball will present the inaugural Field of Dreams game in Dubuque, Iowa, featuring the New York Yankees and Chicago White Sox. A somewhat gimmicky game will air nationally on Fox, and there will be undoubtedly thrust upon the matchup than most Thursday night games in August. Now, heading into the game, a Major League Baseball fan in Iowa is attempting to draw attention to blackouts of locally broadcast games, purchasing a billboard asking Major League Baseball Commissioner Rob Manfred to end the archaic rule. Iowa is a notoriously crappy area to be a baseball fan, with 6 teams: Cubs, White Sox, Twins, Brewers, Cardinals, and Royals blacked out on Major League Baseball's website, MLB TV. Even if you're not a fan of one of those 6 teams, fans can lose at least 18 games featuring their favorite team due to the involvement of those teams in question. However, this is far from an MLB-only problem. NBA and NHL fans in Iowa are blacked out of 3 teams each, and there aren't more because there's only one Chicago team in each of those leagues. Kansas City don't have an NBA or NHL team. St. Louis does have an NBA team. St. Louis doesn't have an NBA team. The only weird Major League Baseball blackout in Iowa that doesn't apply to the other leagues is Milwaukee. Now, since the Bucks aren't blacked out in Iowa, the Pacers, playing in a market without an MLB team, are blacked out. Iowa fans are blacked out the Chicago and Minnesota teams in all 3 leagues. So, while blackouts aren't ideal, they're just not an MLB problem that Rob Manfred can fix with a snap of the fingers. St. Clair, who owns the regional sports networks broadcasting 5 of the 6 blacked out MLB teams and are the dominant RSN owner in the country, should be pressured more, as should Comcast, who owns NBC Sports and their regional sports networks. Local blackouts won't be ended by leagues. They'll be ended by the network owners and operators when they stop relying so much on cable subscribers for revenue. If the larger argument here is to remove all geo-blocking from streaming services like MLB.TV and NBA League Pass, there'll undoubtedly be pushback from the RSNs and even satellite, cable, and streaming companies who want to keep this gravy train going and get their cut when the model inevitably ends up pivoting. Good luck to everyone. And I do believe that is... and Nate Burleson, former Detroit Lion, will replace Anthony Mason on CBS this morning. So, and he'll still be on Extra, blah, blah, blah. And, well, remember when Barstool Sports signed a little deal to sponsor the Arizona Bowl? Well, a few weeks ago, news broke that Barstool Sports, let's try that again. A few weeks ago, news broke that Barstool Sports would not only become the new sponsor of the Arizona Bowl, but the college football game would be exclusively broadcast on Barstool's website, app, and social media platforms. The multi-year deal was seen as a big step forward for the controversial sports media company,